What's up guys, Shane here at FightTips.com. Today I'm just going to be talking about knockout power, power punching, and I'm going to show you ways that you can increase your punching power. Real quick, this is probably going to be the last video I do with a bad quality camera. I just ordered one. It should be here soon. Everybody's talking about how I need a new camera, so I finally gave in and invested in one. Anyway, back to the video. Alright, first I just want to talk about one thing. I want to go over about what most people know as knockout power and heavy hitters. Okay, what I want to do is switch these two last words here, and I want to switch it to knockout hitters and heavy power. Now the reason I'm saying this is because knockouts don't necessarily come from all brute force and power. The way a knockout results is mostly from two things, and those two things are accuracy and technique. Now technique I go over in many of my videos. I'm going to go over it briefly in this one, but I do want to talk about accuracy. When you're throwing punches at your opponent, it's not smart to necessarily just throw all that power that you have, put all your force and all your weight into your punches. I mean, you might be doing damage if you land them, yeah, but if you're hitting them in the wrong spot, it could be all for nothing, or it could be even damaging you. The places you want to hit on the face are the jaw, from here, the bottom of your ear, down to your chin is all vulnerable. If you get a good shot there, that could definitely knock someone out, because if you catch them and their jaw isn't clenched, and it's a good solid shot, there's a good chance you can knock your opponent out. Other spots to aim for, maybe not knockout power, but would be the nose, the eyes, or the eyebrows. The temple you can knock someone out with, or behind the ear, which will probably catch their jaw. And all competitive fighting, it's illegal to hit to the back of the head because it's so dangerous. But in a street fight, like we always say, anything goes, so use your best judgment. There's no skull protecting your brainstem back there, so elbow or a punch to the back head could do some serious damage. Like I said, be careful with that. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I increase my accuracy in punching? Well, fighting's really sport specific when it comes to the training. What you want to do when you're training is training as if you're fighting. That way, so when the fight comes, it's second nature, it's natural, you're calm, everything just flows. So ways to increase your accuracy: you can mark your heavy bag, put spots on it, put X's and O's on it, come up with some sort of pattern, and when you see them, because you know how the bag spins, when you see those openings, throw a certain punch for each symbol. Another great way is to train shadow boxing. Really imagine an opponent. When you see your opponent and you see openings, don't just imagine your opponent standing there. Imagine him moving, blocking. So imagine he throws a jab. Now when he throws that jab, his whole left side's open. Maybe you take the jab and you eat it and you follow up with a cross. Or maybe you slip his jab and then come up with the uppercut, catch him right on the chin. And then another great way is to train in sparring. I mean, sparring is the closest thing you're going to get to a real fight. So when you're training, practice those punches, practice those combos, see when the opening's there. When it is, use it, take it, and practice your targeting and your accuracy. Now, a few things to keep in mind with accuracy. You don't want to think about it too much so that it takes away from your speed or your power. Now, you don't want to be so precise that you're taking all this time just so you can hit your target. I mean, you still want to have that force and that power and that speed and the technique so that it is still a good punch. And another thing to keep in mind with the knockout punching, don't just look for one knockout hit. Don't just think, if the opening's there, I'm going to throw this one hit and it's going to knock him out and the fight's going to be over, because most likely it's not going to happen that way. If it did, you'd be seeing knockouts all the time. So what you want to do is you want to set up your punches, you want to throw your jabs, and then set it up with, you want to throw combos, you want to get in and out, you want to practice good footwork. I mean, the best thing you could do is just have good form, good technique, good accuracy, and if it lands and it does the job, then great, you won the fight. But otherwise, just keep fighting. And a little proof behind all this: you've seen fights, boxing, MMA fights, where it doesn't look like that big of a punch, it's just a little punch. I mean, look how Kimbo got knocked out by Seth Petrozelli. Just a little punch, but you'll hear a lot of commentators say he got hit right on the button. And what they're saying is he got hit in the right spot. Maybe the jaw, maybe the chin, maybe behind the ear. And what it did, it just turns you off. I mean, there's nothing you could do. I mean, it's just a natural body reaction. You can't do much to control it. And then on the contrary, you've seen people get smashed in fights. I mean, take really big hits, and they just take it and they deal it right back. I mean, there could be two reasons for this: either they have a good chin and just are really tolerant, or they aren't getting hit in the right spot. I mean, if you take really big hits but you're taking them on the forehead, that's fine, because your forehead's really strong. I mean, you're more likely to break your opponent's hand than to take more damage on yourself. Now I'm going to demonstrate good technique and accuracy on a speed bag. Alright, so first off I'm just going to show a powerful, strong jab that, if placed on the right spot of your opponent, could result in a knockout. Now, jabs usually aren't a knockout punch. They're usually used to set up other punches to get your opponent to blink or flinch, but they can in fact. Now, a good jab, and I mean obviously it's going to be a good jab. All the punches I'm going to demonstrate in here are going to look good and they're going to be accurate because this bag isn't moving. Your target, your opponent normally is going to be. So first it's just going to be a jab. So I'm just going to bang. And I mean, and like I said, it's not moving, so it was easy for me to hit. The accuracy is obviously going to be there. Another punch would be across, or which is more likely to knock someone out because it does have more force, more distance. It's coming from here rather than from here. So there's more distance, which means it's gaining more velocity. And if you catch them on that sweet spot, say the chin, you're more likely to knock them out. A punch that's even more likely to knock someone out is the hook. Now that was probably the most powerful of all the punches I threw. Not only that, but it came on an angle from the side. So if my opponent's facing me this way, that hook's going to be coming from here, bang, it's going to hit my jaw perfectly. And that's what's going to knock someone out. Okay, now to increase your accuracy is have this thing moving and keep hitting it. This is one thing I came up with. So things you can do is just 1-2 combos, 1-2-3, move a little bit with it, use some head movement, practice everything there is to do in a fight. So it would just be Now what you could do is set your clock for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even 5 minutes, and just do that. Keep going with that, and you'll learn it. At first it's going to be hard. You got to find the rhythm of the bag, find out what your speed should be. Start off slow. I mean, even I still do it slow. I'll throw the jab, cross, bang. When it comes back and bounces, I let it bounce twice before it comes up, and then I'll throw an uppercut and catch it up here. Bang, keep it up here, let it fall, bang. The other one. Alright, now heavy power or power punching can come naturally, or it can be acquired. And if you feel like that you just don't have it naturally, then follow these tips and you'll be sure to increase your power. Alright, the first one is plyometrics. You can read up on plyometrics and learn a lot about it. It's pretty much just explosive movements, you know, clap push-ups, explosive push-ups, chin-ups to where your hands leave the bar when you come up to the top, running up and down stairs, jumping over boxes, the floor ladder. All these things are all plyometrics. And when you do these, you don't want to just do arm exercises. I mean, you're punching, like I've said before, starts in your legs, comes up your hips, into your chest, your back, rolls down your shoulders, into your arm. Then again, push-ups is the same motion of a punch. I mean, it works the primary muscles, the same primary muscles, which are the chest, the shoulders, the triceps, forearms. Other ways are weightlifting. You'd want to do squats, deadlifts, bench pressing, and then forearm exercises too, because if you have a strong forearm and a strong grip, then you're going to have a denser fist. Another great way to increase your punching power is to just do heavy punches on your punching bag. I mean, you still want to keep good technique and everything, but you might hit a little bit harder, put more torque into it, more twist. Now in this video, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think they're both equally important, and I think you should train in both. I mean, if you have good accuracy and good technique, that's great, but what if you're fighting someone who's got really good defense and you can't get in on them? And on the other hand, if you have great power, then what if you have someone that's really evasive and you can't, or the accuracy's not there? I think it's great to have both, because if you're fighting someone who's covering up and you're throwing your power punches, I mean, they'll even feel it through their blocking. I mean, if they hit themselves with their hand, or if the power just follows through their arm into their head, it'll still rattle them. So this was a quick tutorial for you guys. Watch it, learn it, study it. Do some further research into plyometrics, weightlifting, boxing, stuff like that. Until next time, with a better quality video, I'm Shane of FightTips.com.